Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. Here is your fun fact of the day. In the book of Daniel that we talked about last week, the prophet himself that the book is actually named after, there's a couple different stories that happen in this kingdom of Babylon. And as we mentioned last week, one of the largest conclusions to be drawn from Daniel's faithfulness is that favor with God, by being faithful and loyal to him, will always exceed favor to man. Earlier in the book of Daniel, we come across three characters who had Israelite names but were renamed when they achieved some moderate positions in the Babylonian government, and they were renamed to Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. In fact, that is Abednego, not Abednego. Abednego. These were three people who were in charge of a certain area, and this was at a time when King Nebuchadnezzar made a big statue of himself, and then put a decree throughout the entire empire saying that when you hear a certain sound, you are to turn from wherever you're at and face towards the statue. So you have to be a little bit better at geography than the average person. You are to face towards the statue, and you are to bow down and worship it, because I am your king. I conquered you, most of you, my citizens. You should worship me. Well, these three Israelites found that quite impossible to do, because we're not supposed to worship humans, we're supposed to worship God above. So they did not bow down. Well, they got in trouble for it. Their punishment for this was to be burned alive, actually. Probably set an example. Didn't actually say that specifically, but you usually don't burn people alive because you want to deal away with them quietly. So the king had the furnace, where they normally do this, set to 10 times hotter its normal setting. The guards who tried to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to the furnace, they burned alive before they even reached the furnace. That's how hot this furnace was. So in go three men, and while they're in there, somebody takes note. Hey, king, how many people did we throw in there? And the king's like, we threw 3 people in there. Why? I see 4 people in there. 3 people went in, 4 were seen in the furnace. The king calls for them to come out. Here comes Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, completely unscathed, unharmed, not a hair on their head singed, their clothes didn't even smell like smoke. Faithfulness in God can deliver in more than one way. I don't recommend trying to jump into furnaces claiming God will save you. But God has a lot of examples in the Bible, this being one of them, about how those who are faithful to him, even in the face of adversity, can have some pretty rad blessings. Thank you for joining me for this fun fact of the day. See you again soon.